Let me ask you this about Big Pharma, and this is about vaccines. You say that the government regulators have been bought off by Big Pharma. I think that's what you're saying when you say that this entanglement has occurred. You said agency employees are actually getting royalties, getting payments on vaccines and drugs that they approve. Is that true?
Yes, there's a couple things happening. For example, the Moderna vaccine. NIH owns half of that vaccine, 50%. So the billions of dollars that that vaccine makes, half of that goes to NIH, the agency, but there's also individuals, at least 4, and maybe 6 individuals who work for NIH who are high-level deputies under Anthony Fauci who get to collect $150,000 a year forever, not just for their lives, but their children. As long as that mRNA technology is on the market, they're going to be making money from it.
Okay,
and that is a conflict.
Hang on a minute now, because I don't want to blow by this too fast. So the National Institute of Health is getting a kickback, a bribe, a royalty, a share, whatever you want to call it. Is this not a clear conflict of interest?
Yes.
That's what you're pointing out, right?
Yeah, it is. People are shocked.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and unfortunately, as many of you know, the FDA and the NIH have been working hand in hand to make themselves and their inner circle of bureaucrats and billionaires all the richer at the expense of we the people. And no one has exposed that more than Robert Kennedy Jr., ironically a name more associated with DC than perhaps any other, a Kennedy. Now, the good news is that we're seeing people like Bobby Kennedy lead a massive nationwide revolt against these elites. And now more than ever, we're seeing that the emperor really has no clothes when it comes to the powers and principalities running the health complex. What we're finding out more and more is that a lot of lies have been perpetuated over the last 50 years, lies which made millions of Americans sicker and our elites very, very wealthy. But that's all coming to an end. Just listen to this quote from RFK Jr. himself. The FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamins, clean foods, sunshine, exercise, nutraceuticals, and anything else that advances human health and can't be patented by pharma. If you work for the FDA and are part of this corrupt system, I got 2 messages for you. Number 1, preserve your records, and 2, pack your bags. But just how quick do you think we'll be able to fix this problem? It's so systemic to the way we've been doing health or non-health for so many years. What do you think is going to happen? Well, joining me today is Joey Atlas. Joey's the founder of Living Strength Nutritionals and an expert in helping particularly older people get healthy, which is fundamental in an age where we're being constantly lied to. And make sure to check out Joey's Elixir Mixer supplements, the best supplement on the market to get you not only living better, but feeling better as well. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code to get yours today. But before we get into that, Joey, welcome. Great to have you here, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's an honor to have you. So give us your assessment of things. I mean, you're on the front lines of this. Why does it appear that more people than ever are sicker, all at the same time? Big Pharma seems to be making more money than ever.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I have the unique but blessed perspective of being born into this whole realm as a child, because my father was doing all this stuff in the 60s and 70s. So when I was born, I naturally just saw him doing his proper exercise, taking care of his nutrition, taking natural supplements. So for me, that was normal. I didn't know 95% of the population wasn't doing that stuff. Now, as I got older, I was able to see that, most people aren't doing any of this. They're just eating whatever and not exercising at all, right? So I was able to start connecting the dots as I grew into my early teens, teenage years, really, really took a deep interest in all this stuff because I wanted to continue on the path my father put me on and make sure I stayed taking care of myself instead of doing what everybody else was doing, which was not only not taking care of themselves, but consuming whatever the mass markets threw at them, thinking that, oh, if this wasn't good for me, the government wouldn't allow them to sell it to me,
Right.
right? Even if that was a subconscious conversation that happened on its own, it was still real, right? And so I look back now, I'm a 54-year young grandfather, and I look back having stayed the course with my own peaks and valleys in life, pretty much stayed the course. And I look back, I'm like, man, I've got people 10, 15 years younger than me that are begging me for my secrets. Like, how do you do it? Like, I'm dying over here. I'm 40 years old and I'm pre-diabetic and I've got heart issues, right? Let's look at the past 10, 20 years you've been living, and we can see it all there. You've eaten the traditional American diet. You've gone to your doctor for all your problems. Now you're on 5 medications and you're not even 50 years old yet.
Right. Right.
Right. So it's like this insidious, deep programming where people were born into this matrix in this country thinking that the big institutions will make sure that I'm healthy and taken care of, and I don't really have to give it much thought. When in reality, they had you right where they wanted you by you doing all the things they surrounded you with. And now you're a victim of the medical system because you thought you were doing the right things when you really weren't.
Ugh.
So what we're doing now, what we're seeing now with RFK, this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is brilliant, and it's going to unfold in layers that they're going to shock most people.
It is. It's amazing how MAGA and Maha just overlap perfectly here in terms of the people versus this corrupt, elite political class. Who's behind it ultimately? I mean, is it Big Pharma that's driving all this?
So here's how I look at it. Ultimately, every individual is responsible for being intelligent enough to start making their own decisions. Now, most of the population doesn't do that. They just default to whatever they're surrounded by that's influencing them at the moment, right?
Right.
So you see, it influences how people food shop, all the garbage they buy, how much they overdrink, how much they overconsume sugar, processed carbs, industrial meats, etc. So if they're making those decisions and creating their own health outcomes, Big Pharma's there saying, hey, we're your only choice now.
Yeah.
So now you're playing our game. And of course,
Right.
Big Pharma is going to take advantage of people as much as they possibly can because that's where that person got to in their life. They have no choice but to now play the whole medical system game and become a victim of it.
I'm afraid to even ask this next question because I think I know the answer. So you're explaining what the billionaire's role in this is, but my next question, of course, is how was this allowed to happen? Where are bureaucrats? Where are leaders that were supposed to be protecting us in all of this? And I have a feeling I know your answer.
So my opinionated answer is it's allowed to happen because people as voters have a right to vote who they want in office to start making large scale decisions that impact the ingredients allowed in our foods,
Yeah.
the way our food is grown, farmed, and processed, packaged, and delivered to us, right? And so if the billionaire institutions are like, hey, the people don't care because they're still eating all this stuff and they're okay with it, and they're still paying for all the prescriptions. Now they're buying all of these big weight loss drugs. Why should we care if they're voting with their dollars? Let's just keep doing it, even though we know it's bad.
Right.
Let's just keep doing it because it's working.
Right. And you got the revolving door too between the bureaucrats and the billionaires as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, give us some action items here. What hope is there for us laymen? I mean, what can we do to stop getting sick if we're not going to trust the system as we have over these last several decades?
Perfect question. And so it comes down to number one, deciding proactively, okay, I'm going to start doing what we call, like the doctor says, you need to do some exercise. You need to start exercising. The key there is for the average middle-aged and beyond person to understand the word proper exercise. This doesn't mean going beast mode. This doesn't mean doing CrossFit modified. This doesn't mean going to a crazy HIIT class where you're jumping around like a maniac, throwing stuff. Like, that's not appropriate. That hurts more people than it helps.
Right.
So the key is proper, gentle, safe, effective exercise. Now, that's step one. Step two is now you're going to feed your body properly, both with very healthy, delicious meals, and two, natural food sourced supplements, so that you're giving your newly active body the macros and micros it needs to now build up its immune system, build new lean muscle tissue, build brain cells, rebuild your coordination, your agility, your injury resiliency. Because even in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, we still want to play with the grandkids. We still want to have our hobbies. We want to garden. We want to go fish. We want to go nature walking. You can't do any of that stuff, golf, tennis, unless you're physically capable of doing it and mentally confident that your physical abilities will carry you through with safety. Right. So you got to have the proper exercise, proper meals and eating, and proper supplementation to tie it all together so you've got your formula for success.
And is that where the elixir mixer comes in? Because it seems like this is exactly what you're saying. It's something that just it just closes the loop, as it were, ties it all together. It becomes sort of the connective tissue to everything.
Absolutely. So in my journey in this whole realm and working with all kinds of people, one of the first things they'd ask me in training, coaching, consulting is, okay, what supplements should I also be taking as we're embarking on this journey, right? And then I say, well, what are you taking already? And good Lord, if I can tell you, most people were taking like a whole pantry full of crazy stuff. Like, what are you doing with all this? Like, this is working against you. It's not working for you. So we'd have to back down, get all the crummy garbage, plastic-filled supplements out, and start with a food-sourced supplement, not a laboratory synthetic supplement formula, but it had to be food-sourced, because whatever we're taking in, it's going to go into our bodies. It's going to get broken down into its most minute components. And then our bodies are going to reassimilate all those tiny, minute components into the new cells and structures of our body. If you're putting junk in, you're going to get diseased cells. Every cell in your body gets exposed to now this junk that's becoming the new cells as our old cells are pushed away and the new cells replace it. If you want what was intended by God to happen in the first place, you have to consume the foods designed for human consumption, assimilation, and rebuilding of the entire body through the cellular system: brain, organs, heart, blood, muscle, ligaments, tendons, skin, you name it. It all has to come from everything we eat and supplement with to become the new building blocks of our body during cellular turnover. When we do it with the healthy food-sourced materials that are in the Brain Belly Body Elixir Mixer, you're setting yourself up now for natural disease prevention, natural slowing of the rapid aging process that most people expose themselves to by doing the opposite of what we're talking about here. And you give yourself the ability to have high quality of life with longevity. Longevity doesn't matter unless you have high quality of life to live it out, right? So that old saying, you are what you eat, is so true, it's ridiculous. We become what we eat and consume. We really do, at a cellular level. Like, just remember that alone, and that will keep reminding us we have to consume the things that we want to directly impact our health, strength, and vitality outcomes. And that was the basis for the special formulation of the 6-in-1 formula.
It's amazing stuff. And again, you embody it. Obviously, you look great. And you're just right on the front lines of taking this to the next level. Our issue isn't just political. It's physical. It's emotional. It's our entire well-being. It's holistic. It's a revolt against the powers that be that really do want us unhealthy. Because in the end, they not only control us when we're unhealthy,
exactly,
but they profit off of us as well. So again, it's this holistic approach, and that's what I love what you're doing. That's what I love about the Elixir Mixer. I mean, this is It's amazing stuff. Again, like you said, I mean, it's awesome to see Maha come together with MAGA and create this holistic sort of civilizational blowback against the powers that be that have been that have
Absolutely.
unfortunately been empowered and have profited off of us and our well-being.
Agreed.
Yeah, gang, you've got to check out Joey's Elixir Mixer supplement. It's the best supplement on the market to get you not only living better, but feeling better as well. So click on the link.
Sleeping better.
Sleeping better. Everything, right?
Exercising better. Yeah, it affects everything.
It's holistic, and that's the beauty of it. It's absolutely holistic. So
Yes.
click the link in the description, scan the QR code to get yours today. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah,
Joey,
and on that note,
please.
one quick note. A lot of people ask, hey, well, what exercises should I be doing? When you get it, as part of this interview, I'm including a free gentle training program that you could follow either at home, at the gym, or hotels, Airbnbs. So you're going to have your exercise piece. I'm including that free as part of this cool interview. And I put another few free surprises in there as well for anybody who goes and takes action now.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Thank you for that, Joey. Yeah, gang, you got to click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. Get this today. This is a wonderful, wonderful offer and opportunity.
Pleasure
Joey,
to do
thank
it.
you. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's have you back real soon.
You're welcome. I'll be ready.
Thank you, man.
Bye.